Well, welcome to another episode here on the AngelCraft server. Today we are at a new project site, and this is kind of it turned into a little bit of a community kind of ordeal. 3 independent projects essentially, and they all correspond or relate with each other. For right now, it just sort of happened that way, it wasn't planned. But here's, you can see I got some project chests behind me. But what I've done is I want to start working on a flower farm. So what I've done in this area here is I squared this all up and I just kept bone mealing and bone meal and lay down some more bone meal, pick the grass that grew, not breaking the flowers while I do that, and then lay some more bone meal down. Pick up all the grass, leave the flowers behind, lay some more bone meal down. That is a very, very long and tedious process. But they had to be done because now what I've done is discovered where these types of flowers will grow and on what blocks. And you can see the patterns there kind of. Let's turn around here. And you can see we got this stripe of allium, and that flower there is exclusive only to the flower forest, so that's available. We got this stripe of, what is that, azure bluette, that's right there. And we got red tulips, orange tulips, white tulips, and it's kind of hard to differentiate, but these are pink tulips over here. And then we finally got the oxeye daisies. So that's 4 types of tulips: the allium, azure bluette, and oxeye daisies. So we're talking about 7 different types of flowers here. Now what I want to do is I want to section this off into individual parts. So I end up probably making like a couple of maybe 2 or 3 farms, pads if you will, stations, whatever you want to call them. What I don't want to do is just create this huge area like this and create one giant one. I'd rather create 1 or 2 or 3 smaller ones, and then it has better control over it. So what I need to do is, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to frame out what area the stations or pads will be in, and then I'll have a better idea of what's going on and how it needs to be laid out or whatnot. But that's the project, and as I said before, this project kind of corresponds with the what else has been going on. If you haven't seen already, Angel built a banner shop. So with banners, you're probably going to want some dyes, so this is going to help with that. I also have that wool farm over at my place, so that's pretty cool. So that wool there can be used for creating banners also, so you can get any base colors that you want essentially. Now what I need to get this farm going and for it to be super productive is I need a boatload of bone meal. And it just so happened, if you haven't seen already, you should take a look, because Polly Wally built the skeleton farm. So that should work out pretty good. Polly builds a skeleton farm. Byproduct is bone meal. I can use the bone meal to make all types of flowers and dyes, which can then feed the banner shop that Angel made. So that was not planned. It just happened to work out that way. So that works out fairly well. But this is a huge undertaking also. It may seem like a very simple idea. I mean, you can make this really ghetto also. You could just section off areas. Here, let me show you. We could just section off an area. I'm still in the wrong mode. There we go. I could just like square off this area right here, put a frame around it, maybe some leaves or whatever, and then the player could just go in there, throw bone meal on the ground, throw water on the ground, rinse, repeat the whole process, right? And that's fine, you can do that, but that's not how we do things here in professional Minecraft land. What I want to do is I want to break this down, build a farm in such a manner that a single lever will control everything. It will control everything from washing the flowers away, dispensing bone meal, feeding the bone meal to the dispensers in order to grow the flowers. It needs to also move items and sort items and dispose of unwanted seeds and whatnot. So this is going to be one heck of a redstone over-engineered project. So I'm looking forward to that because it's going to really test my skills on being able to coordinate and put together a solid, complete system. So really looking forward to it. But that's the plan. I'm going to get to work and I'll be right back. Alright, well, I finally went ahead and I decided on where I want to put these farms. And it looks like the best thing for me or for this situation is going to be these 3 areas that I have framed out behind me here. So what we have is this area here, which contains both the allium and the azure bluettes. And then there's a section over there that contains a little bit of azure bluette, but also the red, orange, and white tulips. And then finally that section over there, which has the oxeye daisy and the pink tulips. So that takes care of that. I think what I'll end up doing here is, I think given this surrounding area, I think what I'll end up doing is building out some of this landscape. You can see where, maybe you can see, but it like drops off along where my crosshair is now. So what I'll probably end up doing is bringing this landscape out a little bit closer to that drop off, and that will provide for a path here. And I'm not sure if I mentioned already, but this area where I'm standing, right through that gap right there, that's to natural spawn. Natural spawn is a rock throw away from here, and then my place is right over that area. So it's about in the middle or so, so just so you have a reference to where we are standing, so it's not completely out of the way or whatever. So yeah, I'm thinking about build this out, build some sort of edging along here, maybe some sort of not a dock, but maybe a dock, like, I don't know, some sort of wooded wood plank area that you can walk a path along like that. And then I think build a path that can snake through this area, and maybe build like the AFK or the storage unit building in this vicinity here is what I'm thinking. That's going to require a little bit of redstone. There's some stretching to go on here. I don't think this is too close. I do want to provide enough space so that when I get underground here and do all this redstone, that I have room to work and I don't find myself in situations where redstone lines are going to cross in order to manage all that wiring kind of ordeal. So I think this will work pretty good. Maybe put some sort of feature in here kind of ordeal for this. But yeah, that's the plan. What I'm going to do now is put these, I'm going to actually build these 3 sections out, and then you can see my idea of what I'm thinking. Again, I don't have anything 100% solid. I know what I want to accomplish. If I run across any particular snags, or I discover something different or something unusual, or some situation arises that requires further explanation or whatever, I'll bring it back. But that's what I'm going to do now, is I'm going to actually build these out and see what this looks like, and then I'll bring it back in and we can see what the progress is like. So I'll see you in a little bit. Alright, so I got a bit of a progress update for you. I got the 3 stations built out. I got 2 over there and 1 over there. Again, that's the oxeye daisy and pink tulips. Over there we got the white, orange, red tulips and a little bit of azure bluette. And finally over here we have the allium and the azure bluette there. So that's a pretty good, I like that design. That design works pretty good. let me show you how this, or the idea I have on how I think this should work. What we have is, so what I want to happen is those two dispensers back here will dispense water out, and this is the pattern that the water flows. Right under 1, 2, 3 blocks, I have a dispenser in the ground facing upward, and that's the one that will throw bone meal on the ground. So the bone meal will be dispensed. We'll get flowers and grass here, and then these two dispensers will dispense water to rinse the cycle, and then it will also turn itself off. After the water is done running down into this trough area, the middle dispenser that's underground facing up will dispense bone meal again, and the cycle continues. Now I got dispensers here and here because the way the shape is, if we take a look at this water here real quick, so that water will flow like that. And if you put another water on that side, that'll go ahead and all the drops that come off the grass, all the tile drops, they'll end up in this middle hopper here. So I like that. That works pretty good. Let's see if we can. I got a little bit of a. There we go. So that's how the water dispenses. So that will flow like that. And then we'll have that trough water running into that hopper. This water then, like I said, can I... Oh, hey, there we go. This, once that turns off, I got 1, 2, 3, and I believe here. Yeah, so I got a dispenser there, and that will throw the bone meal up into the in the ground. That'll plant the flowers. So once it plants the flowers, these two will rinse it, and then that will the trough water will send it down into the hopper. That's the idea how I want it to work. Now it's just a matter of, but I want a single lever to control all this also, because I don't want to leave this water flowing all the time. So I want to put a lever off to the side. You flip the lever, and all this action happens. So in order to do that, I gotta get underground, do some wiring. So I think I'll do that now. And then I also know underneath me there's a cave, because I saw an actual bat flying around here. So there's some cave and some bad guys, probably some area I gotta clear up. So it seems like I got quite a bit of preparatory work in order to get that wiring working the way I need it to work. So I am going to clear that out. I'm going to get one of these farms working as I just described to you, and we'll come back and we'll take a look and see how that works. And then there's a couple extra features I want to add to this also, so we'll talk about that when I get back. But I want to get one of these working at the point with the lever, and then we'll see it in action. So I'll take care of that, and I will see you in a little bit. Alright, so I just finished wiring this all up and ready to do a test run. I worked with some of the timing. Well, not a test run, I guess, just to illustrate to you or show you exactly what I was talking about. So here's our lever, and when we turn that on, there you go. The trough water gets dispensed. Bone meal wash down. There you go. And that's how that works. And then there's a little delay, just like that. All the tile drops don't go in the trough right away, but they'll eventually get there as the water pushes it down or whatnot. So that works pretty good. You can see, there you go, let some more go. We got those seeds like right there above my crosshair, and eventually through a couple washings it'll go down. So that works pretty good. It works exactly what I was looking for. I like it, and we'll let that little allium there catch up. Just like that. And then we can flip the lever again. There you go. You just saw the trough water get pulled back. And then at the end of the cycle, you end up having a little bit of debris up top like that, but that's not the end of the world. Let's go. I can show you what that redstone does now. Obviously this is here. I just towered that up just for demonstration purposes, but here's the redstone. Pretty straightforward, maybe. I guess it depends on your experience with redstone. So here's the power line. Power line comes down and it does two things. The first is it turns on or powers, or turns on or off, however you want to perceive that, this hopper timer or hopper clock. And from my testing, it should be there. Yep, 10 items seems to be the magic number. And that works well. I tried 12, 11, I tried 9, and 10 seems to work the best. So that's the first responsibility of the power line, is to either turn on or off the hopper timer. It turns that hopper timer off by constantly powering this piston to prevent it from allowing it to pull back. The second thing that power line does is it turns on those two trough dispensers, which are right underneath that block, or above that block there, and above that block there. So what this is, how this works, it's a dual edge circuit, or dual edge, double edge, meaning that it catches the rising and the falling cycle of it. So, but it's also kind of a monostable circuit at the same time. So I guess technically, from like an engineering standpoint, I'm not quite sure exactly what you would call it. But what happens is when this gets power, you can see it powers that redstone dust, which is pretty straightforward, and then here. So when this sticky piston is pulled back, this redstone dust gets connected. It powers that, and then goes ahead and just straightforward redstone for those two dispensers up top. And then when it gets pushed back, it breaks it. So it basically essentially gives it a pulse on in the other direction. I hope that makes sense. And I'm not quite sure else how to explain that. Well, I could break it real quick and you could see it, maybe, if we can catch it. So now there, did you hear that? So those trough dispensers just got fired. And there you can see the redstone connects. And then when you hook it back up, there, just like that, it gets clicked again. So that's the idea behind that. I don't know if maybe you've seen those before, maybe you haven't. Hopper clock. I believe this is exactly Ethel's hopper clock. So I don't. If you can look that up quick and easy. That's a well-known hopper clock. Then with this now, so the power line is responsible for turning on and off the hopper clock, and also for triggering that dual edge circuit over there. Then the hopper clock has two jobs. One is when it's in this position, I pick up the redstone signal underneath, and I bring it around. That runs into this monostable circuit here, and that fires this redstone, which fires these two here. That's where those water dispensers are that wash the farm or rinse the farm. So they get powered once, and then a short delay gets entered again here, and it gets powered a second time, and then that turns off the dispensers, which is exactly what this exact circuit, I've used this circuit before in the farm, so there shouldn't be anything new there. The other responsibility of this hopper clock is when this redstone block gets pushed this direction, it will power this, which then powers, this is the bone meal dispenser there. So that's how the bone meal dispenser gets powered on and off. So that's pretty much how that works. I hope all that makes sense. Next, what I need to do is a couple of things. This is where all the tile drops go. right here in this hopper. What I want to end up doing, if you remember, I stated that I wanted to be able to get a building over in that other corner. So I think what I'll do, and that's where like storage and stuff will go. And I can't imagine running a hopper chain all the way over there. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is building some sort of minecart system, pickup system here, and then let the minecart take it over to the storage kind of ordeal. And then, yeah, so that should work well. And then the other thing is, here's the bone meal dispenser. Somehow, some way, I got to get a bone meal delivery system to keep this full of bone meal. And I'll probably use another minecart also to get bone meal in here. So that's that. I think it worked out pretty good, or it works. It works as I intended it to. Now I just need to repeat those on these other two farms, I guess, or stations, whatever we want to call that. So if I got that one, I'll get that one wired up, that one wired up. And then I think what I'll end up doing is I'll probably end up just clearing all this ground underneath here so I can maneuver around here better. Plus, if I'm using mine carts and whatnot to deliver bone meal to these all three individual stations, I'll need all that room, and I'll probably have to go lower also 1 or 2 blocks further down beneath to create more room so my redstone wiring doesn't get crossed anywhere. And then the idea would be this is where like the AFK or storage building would end up going. And then what I want is basically 3 of these levers here over there, so you can control each one individually, so you can just turn one farm on at a time. So that'd be 3 levers, and then I'm thinking what I'll probably end up doing also that is make a 4th lever, and the 4th lever would be like a master switch where if that's on, it turns all 3 on simultaneously. However, when I do that, what I don't want to do is a master switch that turns on 3 hopper clocks. What I wanted with that 4th one would turn on a single hopper clock, and that 4th single hopper clock would control all 3 of these. So that would be the idea for that. I got to see if I can implement that. I think that would work out pretty good. Then the only other thing with this farm is that when you bone meal like this, you don't get the too tall flowers like rose bushes, and is there another example somewhere nearby? Right there. I don't know if you can see that right above my crosshairs. There's the peony. You don't get those. Or these 2 tall ones barely underneath that tree there is a lilac. And you can see them, yeah, lilacs, and then sunflowers. But I think what I'll do is I'll put those inside the building over here, and that should work out pretty good. I'll probably just put that on a really fast clock. You just turn it on, and for these, if you want to get more, if you didn't know, you just throw bone meal at the above it or on the second block of that rose bush, and you just throw bone meal at it, and you'll get more of it. So that's pretty much it. That's where we are. I have a lot of preparatory work to do here, and then duplicate those underneath there, get some paths worked out. Yeah, there's just a lot of work to do. I got to construct a building of some kind big enough to store all this. We got filter system also. Yeah, we'll put a filter system in there, keep everything organized. Sounds like mine. I'm thinking right now I'm leaning towards minecart with chest solutions for moving items from moving drops from here to the building, and then minecart with chest also to deliver bone meal from there to the individual farms. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but I think it'll be worth it, and it should look good when it's all done. But I think for today, and given the amount of preparatory work I have to do, so I get another video out on Thursday for you, I'm going to say goodbye, and I will see you Thursday now. Take care.